Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we will be doing a full map tour of Brooklyn, pointing out 10 of the top neighborhoods to live in and why they are on the list of places you must consider when picking an area to move into in the best borough of New York. Stick around to get a quick overview of each of these neighborhoods and their identifying attractions, as well as their cool history and even real estate and rent prices. Brooklyn is a diverse borough with a variety of neighborhoods, each with its own unique charm and character. The top neighborhoods to live in Brooklyn can vary depending on your own preferences, lifestyle, and priorities. But here are some popular and highly regarded neighborhoods in Brooklyn, New York. To make it clear, this is in no particular order. Each neighborhood is uniquely its own, and I would be happy to live in any of the following communities. Whenever I look at the geographical map of Brooklyn, my eyes wander to the head peeking to the right of Manhattan. And this is Greenpoint. Known for its Polish heritage, Greenpoint has a laid-back atmosphere, diverse dining options, and a growing arts scene. It's conveniently located near the waterfront, and at WNYC Transmitter Park, you can see incredible views of the Manhattan skyline across the East River. The Carroll Park is another spot in Greenpoint, where many recreational activities are hosted and people go to enjoy a day out in the sun. Many Greenpoint locals participate in the Greenpoint Terminal Market, where over hundreds of vendors sell everything from jewelry to vintage clothes to handmade skincare or homeware. The foundations for this event date back to the early 1900s when it was built for the distribution of shipping goods. So in the month of October, we see that there's 148 homes for sale on the market, which is 4% more than the previous month of September. And these homes are listed at an average price of $1.7 million, which is down 9.6% from September. This is accompanied by 6 price reductions. So this is signaling that there's less buyer demand in the Greenpoint marketplace. So sellers have to be more realistic with themselves in order to gauge the interest that they want. This leaves us at a price per square foot of $1,321, which is actually up 11.2% from the previous month. If we jump down to this chart from RentHop, we can tell what has been in demand by the change in rent percentage from the year previous. So we see that studios aren't very popular in Greenpoint since they actually became more affordable, while as 4+ bedrooms are clearly what is popular in this area since prices went up almost 60%. Just south of Greenpoint is the trendy neighborhood of Williamsburg, known for its artsy vibe, nightlife, and a thriving food scene. It's popular among young professionals and creatives, offering easy access to Manhattan via the L train, usually in under 30 minutes. In 2018, the former Domino Sugar refinery was converted into a 5-acre public park with an elevated walkway, playground, taco spot, fountains, seating steps, and much more, including amazing views of the Manhattan skyline, which is something you will be hearing me say many times throughout this video for the neighborhoods we will cover along the coast. Williamsburg also has great nightlife and entertainment options, with the Brooklyn Mirage at Avant Gardner in East Williamsburg and cool bars like Barcade, a mix of an old arcade and a bar to combine for a great night. Located by the water, Williamsburg had many warehouses and lighter industrial buildings that were previous factories or shipping storage facilities. It wasn't until 2005 that the city passed a massive rezoning of its north side waterfront, from industrial manufacturing and low-density residential to high-density residential to make way for luxury high-rises, high-end retail, and larger commercial developments to repurpose these types of properties. This rezoning significantly contributed to the tremendous growth Williamsburg experienced in demand for living as its popularity boomed in the last decade. Jumping into the Williamsburg market report, we use data from Property Shark since my brokerage only had information for East Williamsburg, but right away it's very evident that the Williamsburg market has been doing very well since the median sale price, median price per square foot, and the number of transactions all increased by significant amounts since the previous year. If we look at the rental demand in Williamsburg, we see that studios, 2 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms were less popular because they became more affordable, while 1 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms increased by 8% and 13%. As we move west, more stunning views of Manhattan can be found in DUMBO. Famous for its cobblestone streets and many art galleries, DUMBO developed into a haven for tech companies, young professionals, and artists. Artists in the 70s actually named the area, trying to make it unattractive to people looking to buy real estate, giving it the acronym DUMBO in 1978, standing for Down Under the Manhattan Bridge Overpass. Some top attractions in the neighborhood include one of the most popular flea markets in all of New York City, the Brooklyn Flea, offering many throwback wares and records as well as top-notch food options. In terms of its eateries, DUMBO is known for some of Brooklyn's best Italian spots, Sony's DUMBO or Grimaldi's being two of the many spots to pick from. Looking at the DUMBO market report, we see 151 homes for sale with an average list price of $4,276,722, 1.6% less than the previous month, with 14 price reductions occurring. Could be because of the surplus of homes that hit the market in October, causing people to slightly reduce prices. Moving on to the rent prices, when I was first looking at this data, I was very stupid because 1 year ago rent shows that studio, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms all became more affordable. And when I went back to the statistics, it showed how 3 years ago, rent in all sectors absolutely skyrocketed. So it makes a little more sense, I guess, for a rebound to occur in the previous year to more market prices. However, the continued increase in 1 bedrooms shows that that is the popular choice of renters in this area. And that makes sense because DUMBO is right outside of Manhattan, so you probably have a lot of young professionals, some that are from New York, some may not be moving into the city, and they live on their own. As we keep tapering down the Brooklyn coast, we get to the historic neighborhood of Brooklyn Heights, which boasts its own collection of Manhattan skyline views, especially along the 1,826-foot platform walkway of the Brooklyn Heights Promenade. You can seek different view angles of Manhattan from Brooklyn Bridge Park, a green space right by the shoreline of the iconic Brooklyn Bridge. With many activity options right outside of New York City, Montague Street in Brooklyn Heights is its main eating and shopping hub. Although brownstones can be found throughout all of Brooklyn, the elegant collection in Brooklyn Heights is one of the most representative of Brooklyn due to the fact that Brooklyn Heights became New York City's first historical district in 1965, being considered America's original suburb. With city protection on many of its older buildings since the 60s, a lot of Brooklyn Heights real estate inventory has been carefully well kept and preserved. It seems like every seller in Brooklyn Heights decided to list in October with a 55.5% increase in homes for sale. Average home price was $2.7 million, but has decreased 19.5% in the last 30 days, while the average sold price actually increased 23.5% in the last 30 days to $1.7 million. For every 10 homes sold in the Brooklyn Heights market, 15 are listed, with a price per square foot at about $1,761, increasing only 1.1% over in the last month. If we look at rent prices, we see that studios are not much in demand in Brooklyn Heights. However, the 1 bedroom to 4 bedroom range has increased significantly. The next 3 communities are all separate neighborhoods, but tend to be referred to together as an area with the nickname Bacoca, which stands for Boerum Hill, Cobble Hill, and Carroll Gardens. To start with the beginning of the acronym, we have Boerum Hill. Boerum Hill is a perfect mix of old and new, with historic brownstones and contemporary developments. Home to trendy boutiques, restaurants, and a welcoming community, you can expect a laid-back outer borough lifestyle that is quiet later at night, but still close to all the action. With an easy commute to Manhattan with the Atlantic Terminal and connection to Long Island Railroad located right in the northeast tip of Boerum Hill, you will never be left without transit options. Atlantic Avenue seems to offer many boutique shopping selections, while Smith Street has emerged as the place to go for a bite to eat, with restaurants like Saul and Clover Club. Quickly for Boerum Hill, 56 homes were for sale in the last 30 days, increasing almost 12% since September, for an average home price of $2.6 million. The average sold price is not indicative of Boerum Hill, since there is only 1 home sold in the last 30 days, for a price 83.3% below the average sold price the previous month. For every 6 homes that do get listed, about 1 home will sell, with the same amount of price reductions as the previous month for price per square foot of $1,551. Now looking at the rent prices, we see that they all have actually become more affordable since last year, but once again, this is because of a rent correction in the market where since 3 years ago, rents significantly increased 40, 42, 23, 23% during COVID and have now rebounded to market rent prices. Next is Cobble Hill, a charming neighborhood with generation-old family-run stores lining the neighborhood streets alongside Italian butchers, outdoor cafes, and cozy bistros. Atlantic Avenue, the northern border of the neighborhood, and the same street that continues into Boerum Hill features one of New York City's largest collection of Middle Eastern shops. The go-to recreational spot for residents is Cobble Hill Park, a smaller yet exceptional green space for the community. Cobble Hill is known to be a hub for writers, featuring many indie community bookshops, which host their own writing workshops, readings, and lectures. Also popular with families, Cobble Hill's luxury real estate options include Victorian schoolhouses reimagined as lofts, former carriage houses and Gothic revival churches converted into condominiums, and more. Since most of the properties in Cobble Hill are within a protected historical district, the turnover in the neighborhood is low, with many buildings restored to their former glory. In Cobble Hill, we saw a 112% increase in homes for sale in the last 30 days, with 48 homes, with an average home price of $2.28 million, 15% lower than September. And the average sold price, again, is not indicative of the neighborhood, since only one home sold in the last 30 days at 75% lower than the average sold price in September. With 3 price reductions, that was the same as the previous month, for a price per square foot of $1,504, a slight increase from the previous month. Last of the 3 neighborhoods in the highly sought-after Bococa area is Carroll Gardens, a primarily residential community with rich heritage from Italian immigration in the earlier part of the 20th century. It is generally known for its picturesque streets and bustling dining scene. Recommended food options are Court Street Grocers, Frankie's 457 Sputino, and Abilene. Other shops and stores, including popular brunch options, can be found on Court Street, acting as a vein of the neighborhood. The Carroll Gardens Historic District is one of the smallest historical districts in the city and was designated in September of 1973. Within it, you can find Neo-Grec and Italianate-style brownstone row houses with deep front yards due to their atypical setbacks. In the month of October, 41 homes were for sale, increasing 27.2% from the previous month for an average home price of $2.28 million. Square foot in Carroll Gardens was $1,461, and I just want to point out how similar Carroll Gardens, Cobble Hill, and Boerum Hill all were together in terms of home price and price per square foot. Now, if we look at the rental data for Carroll Gardens, we see that the 3 bedrooms were least popular as they became more affordable, while there is more demand in 1 and 2 bedroom space. One of the first areas settled in Brooklyn is Red Hook, and it got its name from its hook shape of the peninsula corner that projects into the East River, as well as the red clay soil that exists on its shorelines. As a growing shipping area during the Great Depression, the first housing in Red Hook was constructed in the 1930s for its dock workers and shipping employees. A pier that I'm sure was once used for fishing and transportation now offers a front-facing view of the Statue of Liberty at Louis Valentino Parking Pier. Over time, much of the shipping and industrial infrastructure of Red Hook has been repurposed into modern housing developments or burgeoning artisanal stores and galleries. Van Brunt Street is the main street of Red Hook, where its cool shops, restaurants, bars, and cafes can be found. To name a few include Red Hook Tavern, Red Hook Lobster Pound, and Brooklyn Ice House. Historically known as a tough area up until recently, Red Hook was where Al Capone began to make a name for himself as a criminal and got the wound that came to give him his nickname, Scarface. In Red Hook, 70 homes were for sale for an average home price of $2,197,486. With 6 price reductions, there was 50% more than September for an average $989 per square foot. As we start to venture into the borough, we find Park Slope, known for its tree-lined streets, beautiful architecture, and family-friendly atmosphere. Park Slope offers a mix of trendy shops, thriving dining scene, and a diverse activity options with casual bars. A true pedestrian-friendly residency is a great choice for families and young professionals by offering upscale amenities minus the late noise of the city right outside of the renowned Prospect Park. Before Ebbets Field, the Brooklyn Dodgers played in Park Slope between 1898 and 1912, and they practiced in the drill hall of the New York State Militia Base that was the site of the first engagement in the Revolutionary War that still stands in Park Slope today. Every 29 homes that is listed, 3 sell. So this is a very dramatic sold to list ratio that we haven't seen numbers like in other markets in Brooklyn. Not only can it be because of the lack of buyer demand, but it could actually be from the influx of homes that have recently hit the market. And then for rent, I'm starting to get a little weary that so many different bedroom types have actually seen decreases in prices. So I'm going to start taking rent hop data with a grain of salt. And what I would just look to see from here is comparing the prices from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 bedrooms as opposed to the 1 year ago differences. And in that case, the 1 bedrooms are apparently the most expensive by price per square foot. Joined with Park Slope to the east and just north of Prospect Park, we find a neighborhood with a mix of housing options and cultural institutions like the Brooklyn Museum, as well as a variety of dining and nightlife spots. Other notable places in Prospect Heights include the Brooklyn Public Library and the Barclays Center, home of the Brooklyn Nets and host of many top artists across the world. With many identifiable landmarks, Prospect Heights offers access to Brooklyn's hottest destination venues without sacrificing a friendly commute into Manhattan. After Prospect Park was opened to the public in 1867, Prospect Heights became an ideal location to open many of Brooklyn's institutions like the Brooklyn Museum, then called the Brooklyn Institute of Arts and Sciences, as well as the world's first child museum in 1899, the Brooklyn's Child Museum. A middle-class community followed suit, with many nearby factory and shop owners residing there, and more people moving in after the completion of Ebbets Field just to the south in 1913. Last but not least, we have Prospect Heights, where 84 homes were for sale with a 71.2% increase in the last 30 days. The average home price in Prospect Park was $1,551,107, with an average sold price of almost $5 million. However, once again, there's only one home, but I find this actually indicative of Prospect Heights to show the range of prices that homes could sell for. Despite the average home price being $1.5 million, we found a $5 million house for sale in the month of October. As we look for the rent data for Prospect Heights, I only want your attention to be on the price per square foot, showing how 1 bedrooms are the most costly per square foot at $78. I really doubt that all bedroom types got more affordable. Today, we have briefly talked about 10 of the many beautiful and historically rich neighborhoods of Brooklyn, New York. Coming up on my channel is an in-depth video series for each of these neighborhoods, where I will do a community tour, individual analysis of each area's real estate market, and price comparisons. I'll even do need-to-knows and property tours. If you want to learn more about any of these communities we talked about today, stay tuned by subscribing so you can see these videos as they come out. In time, I will cover all of these neighborhoods as well as a handful of others. Brooklyn is a massive borough with many more areas to consider moving to outside of just these 10. Keep in mind that the best neighborhoods for you will depend on your own individual needs, budget, and preferences. It's essential to get an understanding of these neighborhoods and consider factors like commute, schools, and local services when making your decision. Partnering with a real estate agent who knows the area and market can be extremely helpful. And if you think that is me, my contact information is listed in the description below. If you need any guidance or have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Until next time, thanks for watching.